I've got to do this bullshit again. Because you guessed it, I'm stupid. I tried to record a Tandem tube steelhead fly the other day. Well, I didn't try to. I did. I just did it real bad. So just wasn't paying attention. 2 cameras, one to talkie, the other to zoom in. Didn't zoom in. So just me talkie. Both of them cut off right here. So just my face talking about a fly, can't see. Great. So guided all day, took the dogs for a walk. This is what I want to do. I guess I could just not do it. It's not like someone's like, you got to get it done. People are relying on you. For the 4 people that watch this video, you're welcome. You're welcome. Somebody asked me about it last Friday. I was like, oh, we'll tie one this Friday. Then I got home. My internet's down. Oh, God. But it does suck. I'm bored now. Bored in the house. So I did all the other non-internet stuff, and I want to do internet stuff now. I can't watch my shows. Just wanted to relax. So it was either this or reading, and I think you know what choice I'm going to make. I'm just kidding. I'm reading a lot. That's bedtime stuff. Okay. That's up in the bed with the dogs and the tea and the book. It's only 7:30. I'm old, but I'm not 7:30 asleep old. I'm going to try to use this needle. I don't know if you can see it. Let me do the trick. It's bent real bad. It just happened. Maybe one of these. I can't believe I don't have another one. Maybe this works. We'll see. Try. So yeah, this is just Silvey's Tandem tube, except I put a little color on the end. I guess he does that too. I was like, I'm going to church this shit up. And then I put it online. I'm like, I don't know. I'll call it a tail light. Whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. And I thought it was all cool. Big deal. It's got a little bit of color on the end. And Silvey calls me. He's like, yeah, that's my fly. I was like, God, dude, can I tie a fly you haven't created? The answer is no. Always no. We're doing aqua flies tubing. Doesn't matter. Just get a big tubing and a small tubing. That's all you need. So it looks like they look like this. 3 millimeter, whatever size that is, and 1.8, the smaller size. And so just get a little chunk. If it doesn't, that was kind of cool. If it doesn't work this time, just figure it out. There's a little tube on the back. You tie it on, you tie rabbit on, it doesn't matter. But 2 steelhead ate it today, so it's the magic fly. It's the only thing that'll work. Is this going to slide all the way on there and not stop? Oh, that makes me real mad. Probably should have thought about that before I started. I guess I'll try to use this. It's going to break it. It's going to break while I'm tying it. Then I'm going to flip out. Actually, to be honest, everybody out there, 4 people, probably mom, dad, some random person who accidentally found this, and Colby, haven't been freaking out that much lately. Okay, that works. It's going to work for the back part at least. And then whatever, just a small chunk. You're going to cut it down. And then just use whatever thread you want. This is uni thread just because I like the color. I like it to match. I like the carpet to match the drapes. Why did I say that? Just stop. So it's orange. So the back's going to be orange and red. Although it's not really orange. Not in steelhead. Tying. There's so many. If you could see back here, it's just particles of just dubbing and rabbit and fur just everywhere, just in the air, and they go in here and there and everywhere. It sucks. It drives me crazy. Hairball morning. So it's not orange, it's coral. New color. Gotta get it. I did, because I need to buy every color no matter if it comes out. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why is the orange down here? Because I stocked the shop. And then I looked, I'm like, coral? Oh yeah, I ordered that. It's orange. This is the color. It's just orange, but it's a different orange. And I have to have it. Just like this color. Is it red? Not really. One would call it red. Some people are like, it's claret. Yes, but they call it cherry. I gotta have it. I will have it. I do have it. Oh, I thought I already made one back here. Done. So get a little chunk of this, whatever. You don't have to do this. You can just tie on. If you want to do it simple and just make it all one color, great. Do that. But I like... The funny thing is I think Silvey also called his fly the taillight. So, I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm the same as him. We're both creative. No, I just saw it somewhere years ago. And then it just went back in my dumb brain. And then 7 years later, I was like, dude, I got a good idea for a fly. No, you don't. You stupid boner. You just forgot that you saw Brian's fly. You dummy. Then you tied it. Then you posted it. And then he said no. And so now you just tie it and you tell everybody, hey, this is Brian's fly. You can't get them anywhere because nobody makes them. So there, in your face, Brian, dumbass fly. I'm just kidding. They should make it. So there you go. That's it. They would probably eat that. Then you get cherry. Come on. If you're not aware, the fur goes one way. And then just get like the tiniest little bit of hide. Like, or wait, what was I doing at this time? You know what? That was the old way. Again, you're so dumb. You try to like pull the fur back and tie just on the littlest part of hide you can there. You try not to trap any of the fur, but you're gonna the first couple times. And you tie it like right on that thread, but don't go over the other rabbit. This is so specific for such a stupid fish. Not like I don't like them. Just they're dumb. They're very dumb. Steelhead. Or very aggressive. Both, same thing, whatever. But this like exact, you got to do it. You do have to do it like this because I told you to. No, because when you when the water passes over the fur in the back there, if you tie it too much on top of that hide or there's space in between, you don't tie it on top of the thread wrap. I feel like an idiot just explaining this. Please, I hope there's one person out there just like, yeah, go on. I get it. I'm going to do it. There's not. Everyone's like, yeah, cool rabbit strip. And then they click on fucking, I don't know, Mr. Beast or John B with 100 million hits. And they're like, today I'm going to build a city and set somebody's butthole on fire. And then the other guy's like, we're in Texas again. And I'm going to catch so many bass. And that's not hate. I wish that was me. You guys are killing it. Actually, not Mr. Beast. That looks like way too much work. And I like work, but not that much. But John B, you got a nice bass boat. I'm not hating on that guy. So you got to get it right on top of the thread, okay? Otherwise, it'll do like this inchworm thing. Instead of it going from cherry, red, covered that, to orange, coral, in a smooth transition so it looks like it's one piece of rabbit, it'll do this inchworm thing. And if you're anything like me, it'll drive you fucking crazy. And you won't fish those flies. So just do it right the first time. And then I put super glue on there, and then I wipe it off with my fingers. Why am I doing this? It's in there, but it sticks to everything because it's glue. Rubber your glue. But now it's on there. And so now you can see like when it's wet, you like to get wet, Dave. It's nice. It's like, there you go, a little stitch back there. Don't do it. Slide it off. And then get the 1.8. Kind of get a longer chunk of this. Like, whatever, how long that is. I don't know. That long? Inch and a half? They'll go longer. When you put it on, that's a good reference point. When you put it on your needle, there's still some tube that is sticking out. It doesn't go all the way on. Just because sometimes you think, oh, that's plenty of room. And then you're just all bunched up at the front. So it's better to have more room. Start in the middle, maybe a little bit to the left of the middle, thread wrapping it. My trash can wasn't open. I'm just throwing stuff. It doesn't matter. This place is a fucking dumpster fire. Actually, it's pretty clean. I say that, but I look around, I'm like, it's pretty organized. You just see me and whiteboard, but this, all this, fairly organized. A little bit of zap to the gap. And then schlopping, Chinese hackle. Just as long as it's like real full and it kind of has that like chickaboo shit at the bottom, you know, like, well, that's a pretty good one. I'll just use that one. Doesn't matter. What are you doing? That stuff, it's good. You don't want like all this real wispy fine stuff. I don't like it super sparse. Everybody's like, keep it sparse, keep it sparse. I've probably said it in many videos. Not here. You don't want to see through it. I don't want to see through it. I don't like the way it looks. That's why I'm doing it this way. Again, fish don't care, but this is the way I want it to look. Couple wraps, whatever. You don't have to fold it back. You're going to find these flies, 200 years from now. They're like, this thing's still together. I guess I should open that trash can. That's a lot of Celsius down there. Trying to cut back on the energy drinks. They don't really give me energy. I think I just like the way they taste, which is so wrong on so many levels because they're not good. Like you have a good liquid, whatever your favorite is. I was just going to say milk. It's gross. Why did I think that? Gross. Whatever it may be. I like Sprite Zero. It's really good. But whatever. You have that, then you have an energy drink. You're like, this is not like, you're not like, love it. But I do, which is a bad sign. So I'm trying to cut back. Cut back on my energy drinks, Jesus. Somebody did turn me on to spin. It's like two fishing words, I think. Spin drift. That's it. I knew I got there. I don't think it's a fishing soda, but it's bringing that hardware and fly together. Spin drift. Love it. Those things are fucking delicious. Real juice or fruit or both, or maybe this one is the same thing. So good. I was drinking that, just like the Frederick Meyer bubbly water that tastes like somebody fucking dropped a Tic Tac into just soda water. It's like, I think I taste flavor. Same price. And so much better. See how that's fluff? I like the fluff. Not too much though. Don't get it extra fluffy in there. Don't you do it. That's pretty fluffy. It's getting a little out of control with the fluff. Yeah, spin drift. Somebody mentioned it that I was guiding last week, and I just stored it in my dumb brain or whatever, and then I was at the grocery. I would tell you a story that at the grocery, but I'd probably get canceled or something. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And I didn't mean to say these words, but just being on TikTok, the stupid songs and shit that are on there, some of them are not PC or whatever. It got stuck in my head, and I'm just like in the fucking pickle aisle looking at Oval chips or whatever, and I just am like doing some weird shit. I'm 45, singing TikTok songs to myself in the grocery aisle alone on a fucking Monday at 3. And I just said it out loud, and I just hear kind of a gasp, and I turn around, it's like a mom and her son, but the son's like too young for TikTok, like 6. And it wasn't good. It wasn't a good song. And I wanted to be like TikTok, but she's too old, probably. She's probably younger than me, honestly. Still too old, you know what I mean? Son's too young. And I just went, I'm sorry, something's wrong with me. And they kind of just were like, their eyes said, I feel bad for you. But her face said, we're going to call the cops. So I had to get out of there. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Then I was there and I saw Spindrift. And I was like, that's that shit that guy was talking about. I was like, whatever. I'm buying this bubbly water or whatever. And then I saw it made with real juice, fruit. Again, same thing. And I was like, whatever. I'll try a couple. Whew. Had one on the river today, and I think I scared my guy. He was like in the zone, and I took a sip, and I was just like, shit! And he's like, what? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, have you had these? He's like, what is it? I was like, Spindrift? He's like, no, man. Like, are you all right? I was like, sorry, it's made with real fruit. sound like a fucking idiot on the river. And he's like, no, he didn't find it as kind of amazing as I did. But I looked at the can a couple times, like it was great. So, yeah, if you work for Spindrift, I'll fucking wrap my boat in that shit, man. That stuff is good. I'm a big fan. And it scratches the itch of energy drinks. I think I just like to drink shit, is what I'm realizing at a later age. Just put something in my hand in a can that I can drink a lot of. So I had 7 of them on the river today. I put 4 in and I was like, oh, maybe Joe will want a couple. But really in my head, I'm like, after the first one, I was like, I'm not giving this guy shit. But I put 4 in and then I was like, oh, we'll have 2 each or whatever. So I put 8 in and I drank 7 of them. I said that like I'm bragging, and I crushed 7. No, that was an embarrassing admittance. Admittance? Am I saying mittens? Admittance? Is that a word? Dude, this might be my dumbest video yet. I think I'm getting dumber. Stupider? I should not be doing this. I'm not even talking you guys through it. Doesn't matter. It's good stuff. Okay. So I put just the littlest part of the rabbit hide right there. You don't want a big chunk. Here's a little trick I did. I do. You're struggling. Flip it. If you watched any of my earlier videos, if you somehow had the bad luck of seeing the craft fur changer, I'm sorry. But I talk about building thread dams where you make, the thread that goes up like this to build a stopper. I was like, I wonder if I could kind of reverse do that. So you can't see the thread dam. I can't even see it. But I'm just kind of putting a little thing there. And it kind of makes it arc. So when it flops back, it just has that little arch. It's kind of nice. Does it do anything? No, but I like it. I can hear people like, use a dubbing ball. I've done a dubbing ball. When you tie the rabbit on top of it, dum-dum. Okay, just too aggressive. I've done the dubbing ball. I don't like the dubbing ball. It comes apart. I use brushes, too much bulk. They don't sink. Just a couple thread wraps. It just gives it a nice little, you don't have to do it, but you do it once and you're like, that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Then hit it with the Zappy Gap. Oh, God, I got wild there for a second. God, I wish I had a Spindrift down here. I almost brought one. And then before I knew it, I was recording. And fuck, I don't want to stop doing cold there. I'm almost done. It's quick. Then just Flashaboo. This is actually called Red. Is it? I don't know. 2017? Oh, my God. That's how old this stuff is. I can't use this Flashaboo. 7 years old, 8 years old, and get however many. This is an amount, and put it as long as you want. Don't put it back here. Don't be an asshole. I do it to not as long as the tail, kind of at the end of the tubing, just because your hook's going to be back there. And sometimes this Flashaboo starts getting a little... Did I just pull that all the way through? Well, that really fucking locked it in. The Flashaboo can get a little wild, swinging out there, and it'll get wrapped up in that hook. And people are like, and what does that do? Nothing, except drives me insane. I mean, I was with Joe today, and he's like, how's the fly look? I'm like, and I spent 12 minutes just getting all the Flashaboo out from underneath it in that hook. So then when I put it in the water, the flash is here on the sides, and the rabbit's working independently. I'm like, sweet, guaranteed first cast, fucked. But to me, I'm like, it looks better like that. Again, there's a lot of luck involved in steelheading. The more I do it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if people should be hiring steelhead guides or me or anybody. But then he got one 3 casts later. And I was like, I can't say for sure that didn't do something or that it did, but that it happened. And I was like, confidence, cool. He's like, oh man, that fly looked good. I was like, okay, whatever. So I don't know what I'm saying. And then he got another one. There's a bunch of boats out there today. Maddie from the shop, he got one, but talked to some other guys, they blanked. So it's like, okay, I don't feel so bad. Because I had like a little mild, I don't really have panic attacks or anxiety or anything like that. I just felt like an asshole out of nowhere earlier this year. And I'm like, I think there's too much luck involved. I don't know if we should be guiding for steelhead. Like, I can teach you how to cast better if you listen. Does that happen? No, it doesn't. And I can know the river levels and whatever. Let me give you my whole fucking rundown. I'm a guide, but fuck, man, people get them that suck. They fucking, okay, calm down. They're not good, okay? They're having fun out there. They're just enjoying the water, being an asshole, but they're not good, and they still catch them. But it's usually when the river's in perfect shape. So I was having a little bit of problem, like, man, it's just the other species, I can tell you exactly what to do. Warm water stuff, fish that eat, that are predators. Do what I say. Don't think. Turn your brain off and just be a robot. And when I say jump, you say how high, and you're going to catch them. You don't, you're probably not. Steelhead, there's like a little, and then I kind of started leaning into it the last, I don't want to do that anymore, couple weeks, where that's kind of the fun about it. Like, you don't know, like, it's like, you know, people say like the older you get, the less you know, or the more you know, the less you know. I think you get to a point, and I'm not saying like, I'm such a good steelhead guide that I think I suck now. It doesn't make any sense. But at some point you're like, if you haven't questioned steelheading as a guide at some point, then you're not even in the fucking realm yet. Because I was just looking back at dates, and 15 years. Now, I know that's no Silvey 40 years, or Sickles, or Travis, or Marty, or those guys that have been crushing it since I was fucking trying to get my driver's license. But it's a lot for me. And yeah, at first you're like, God, I hope we catch one. Fuck. And then you're like, I'm pretty good at fucking teaching people how to cast a rod. And then you're like, man, fucking conditions suck. And then you're like, oh, I got clients that can fish. This is sweet. And then you start catching fish, and you're like, I'm the best ever. Whatever. Not that. But you're like, yeah, I got it. Like year 9, 10, you're like, here we go. And then, I don't know, I just start trying to be better, and you like cap out or some shit. I don't know what I'm saying, but basically I was having a little issue with myself in guiding, and then just kind of got back way into it about a month ago, and kind of feel better than I have about it, and just kind of accepted the fact that you got to use everything you can to figure out when to go, and not go when you, like, if you can afford it. You know, meaning like as a guide, if you can go when it's just fucking awesome, you feel a lot better. It's not a great way to do it financially, but that's kind of what we're doing this winter. The last day I guided before today was Thanksgiving, because it just wasn't right. Now, it was pretty blown out for a while there, but there's a few days here and there, but it just wasn't right. Called my buddy Joe a couple days ago. I was like, it's Friday's the fucking day, man. It's going to be good. And people caught a bunch of fish. So I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm distracted by cutting this. Look, I did a dubbing loop. I'm sorry. I know I shit all over them. Composite loops I do. This is just a dubbing loop. And I just like the way the rabbit kind of fits at the front here instead of schlopping. I get a bunch, cut it off the hide, cherry. So same color. I get more than you think, because I guess I'm not good at dubbing loops or something, but I lose quite a bit of mine. So I put a pretty big chunk in there. And then I like that Loon low-tack swax. Are you tired of hucking loogies on your thread and sticking a bunch of rabbit in your mouth? Loon low-tack swax. The wax to low stack your thing. It's good stuff, whatever. They didn't give it to me for free. It costs like $3. And it's lasted like 5 years. Actually, it's been longer than that. It's just been sitting over there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of putting spit on here and it not sticking. That's what she said. So just use some of that stuff. People are like, yeah, everybody uses dubbing wax except you. You total, complete, utter boner. So I'm new to that. See, like I'm losing a bunch of it already. See, like all this stuff over here. I wonder if I could sneak it back in. This is not a good idea. Actually, with that wax, it might stick there. Maybe I'm learning something. Come on, don't do that. Get in there. Don't. Yeah. Oh, that looks great. False. Yeah, kind of spread it out or whatever. It's not the best. I'm going to lose a bunch. The other thing, when you do a dubbing loop, try to get it long enough so your dubbing spinner sits against your vise down here. Because then as you're doing stuff, your thread doesn't spin. You don't have to like pinch it off anywhere. It just kind of sits there. And then still, OPST did not make very good things when they started out. Maybe they're making good stuff now, but this dubbing spinner is very heavy and it's still my favorite one. I like it a lot. And then you can get a dubbing brush, but I kind of use a bodkin at first. And like I said, if you're really good at dubbing loops, obviously there's some people out there that are way better at this than I am. You'll get a pretty decent head out of that. I have to use, 3.5 rabbits just to get one head on there, but I make it work. And I don't really like the dubbing brush because it will pull out kind of too much. And this you can kind of get in there and pick it out a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to spend all day. Just kind of get that so the thread's somewhat thin and the hair's picked out. That's fine. And then I do use a little hackle plier here because I like it. Come on. Pretty quick tie. I mean, and they look awesome. This not exact, because it's not the one I fished today, obviously. But this color pattern, this size, is what got them both today. I really like red and clear water. The river was high. Obviously today it's on the drop. But certain rivers, if you know them really well, know if they clear really quick. They take a while to clear. If it's been high for however many days or weeks, does it stay dirty or does it run green and it's just high? That's a lot of rabbit in my mouth. That was Jesus. Oh my God. This specific river, if it stays blown out for more than like a week, doesn't have like enough feeder creeks kind of up high to keep it dirty. So it just runs kind of steelhead green, even when it's, 7,000 CFS above anything you'd want to fish. So I figured probably fish something dark in the morning just so they can see it. But as soon as, not the sun never came out, but as soon as it got light, there's going to be about 8 feet of viz. And there was. And red is a really good color to fish in clear water, you wouldn't think, because it's the first color that disappears in water with the sunlight in the reference to depth. So if you got like a 6-foot run, black, blue, and then I think purple's the third, will show up the longest as it goes down in that water column with light. And red, god dang, disappears pretty quick. But when you have like a ton of viz like that, I don't think they see it like we see it, It just, I've said this a million times before, podcasts or whatever. Oh, this guy's been on a podcast. And it's kind of like, if you've ever seen that movie Predator, where they're like looking at the predator up in the tree. That guy's like underneath that log. He's like, he's up in there in the trees. I don't know why I always think of that. But it's like that translucent kind of hologrammy thing. That's how I think they see red. That's what I like to think that they see it like that. So it's just this kind of moving thing. kind of has a silhouette, but it's just not like bam, like black leech, huge thing coming through. And so you can kind of fish a bigger one, I think. That's just my thought process. And so, yeah, I think it's just a really good color. And it looks good in all watercolors, but I fish kind of a lot of red when it gets clear. The other thing, little pro tip, take it or leave it, whatever you want. When it gets real low and real clear, most steelhead guides and fishermen that I know, it's like, I don't know. I'm sure it's worked for them and that's why they say it, but I don't downsize. I go just as big, sometimes bigger, because I'm trying to piss that fish off. Like they're all wigged out. They're probably in deeper water. If you're finding a river or you're first on the water and they're unpressured and they're kind of like whatever in 2 foot of water, like hanging out, just this big thing coming through, they're either going to crush it or run from it. Both fish that ate this today, like whacked it hard. I think sometimes that little guy, like, why not throw a hair wing? People are like, we do. Pass. Tried throwing some big stuff. I've had a lot of fish where, you're fishing a regular, whatever, small marabou tube, unweighted. It's tiny in the water. And you just get this kind of yank, drop, and that's it. I used to switch flies, go down sizes. Sometimes they'd come back, but not often. Then I started going the other way because like it was a good grab. It was myself fishing years ago. And I'm like, I'm going to not downsize. I'm going to start going back up. So I started going back up, nothing. I'd walk back up. This is when I was insane for fish. 10 steps up, come through, 10 steps up, change fly, 10 steps, change fly, 10 steps, change fly. And when I got back to that original size, sometimes like a little doot, and then I'd go up a size, like same grab, nothing crazier, change flies, different color, a little bit bigger, same little doop. And sometimes I'd be like 2, 3, or 4 flies. And then I'd get something to like this and come through and it's just big pull. Like they're kind of like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Then this big thing comes through and they're like, I'm going to crush it. So this is the fly. Looks good, right? Looks good. Whatever cone you want. This isn't tungsten or anything. It's just, I kind of like the copper stuff with red. Push it on. Slide this guy off. Get your shitty scissors. And just cut. Leave a little bit of tubing. Not a crazy amount. Slide it back like so. Take it. Flip it. This just helps it melt kind of all around, universally, whatever. Get that blue part of the flame. Kind of go around. Melt it on top of that cone. Bingo bango. You got a, what are they called? Tandem tube. Jesus. And that's it. That's the tandem tube. Taillight tandem tube. And that tube back there, just trim it on both sides. Not right against the thread, because the thread will slip off of it sometimes, even if you super glue it. So make sure there's a little piece of tubing that you can see. But you don't want a bunch of tubing back there. It makes it swim weird. But I like just that little hot shot of color back there on the tail. And the cool thing is, more rabbit in my mouth. The cool thing is when you rig them up, you put your Maxima or whatever, your tippet in here, you tie a non-slip mono, a double surgeons, like a loop like that long, then you pinch that loop and thread it through there. And so you want the loop to just like, a quarter of an inch past the tubing. You want that loop to end. And the knot from that loop knot butts up against this piece of tubing. Then you loop your hook on. So your hook's like right here in the tail. It holds it up so it doesn't droop down and hook rocks and stuff. It's right there. So they eat that. I mean, they crush flies, but again, they're not a predator. They're not eating stuff. They're killing it. That's why they hit it from the back. They don't come up. They don't come like this. They do come down sometimes and inside out, but they don't come here and try to eat it head first. It wouldn't work. If it did, we would have hooks like this, like on the top of their head and over here, and the fly would be like down in there or whatever. It's always right here because they eat it here. You know, they come up, they chase, they come down, eat it, go here, and the hook rotates, if that makes sense. It looks good. I love this fly. I love this color. Tandem tube, Silvey's pattern. There you go, Brian. Oh, you're great. I suck. You're handsome. I'm ugly. You're creative. I can't do anything. Whatever. Just kidding. Mostly. You're great. That's why he comes up with shit like this. And I still fish it, and I love it. And you can do, you know, purple with pink and, you know, black with blue tail, whatever. You just got a little color platform, and you can tie them tiny, longer, whatever, magnum strips. You can do different variations. I hide a big old tungsten cone in here sometimes. I won't have clients fish it, but like that on like a 6-foot leader, buckets, right? Like, oh, I've caught them in this 5-foot ditch. It's like yarded out there, big pullback, man, drop my rod tip and just let that thing just get down, you know, 5 feet instantly, swing it out, you know, just a little micro swing and just get tight if you can. But that's for your own fishing. Don't let your friends fish that. They hit your rod, it'll blow it up instantly. But you can do all sorts of fun stuff like that. So Tandem tube, you're welcome.